Hey guys, it's Simon here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're doing another episode of the Sword and Sorcery Book Club. Today we're looking at Conan Eastern Horizons by Walter Simonson and Jerry Ma. Now this was kind of a surprise extra issue of the Conan the Barbarian series that kind of just came out of nowhere. It's a digital only, or it's a Amazon exclusive, whatever you want to call it. But basically it's kind of like non-canon, I guess you could call it. Conan Adventure, written by Walter Simonson and Jerry Ma is the artist here. Also, the letterer is Richard Starkings and Tyler Smith, which is kind of normal. They do all of the lettering for everything Conan related. And this one's a bit of an oddity, first of all, because it is digital only. Secondly, because it's not really in line with anything else. And I'm not really sure what the point of this story was. Also, this, to me, basically is the first failure, in quotation marks, that Titan has done. It's kind of like the first real stumble that Titan has had since they launched Conan again, right? Or Heroic Signatures, I guess, not Titan. But there were some issues with the Savage Sword, but those are all kind of like printing issues. They're growing pains, or kind of issues with starting something, right? Those types of issues just cannot exist in this kind of story since it's digital only. And so the vast majority of the issue here is the writing, the art, and the editing. And I don't know if who the person at fault was here, or what ideas came to lead to this, but it opens up the same as always, the Median Chronicle, the map and stuff. It focuses us into the edge of Ophir, although since this is supposed to happen in Kitai, I'm not really sure that that's correct. And Eastern Horizons is the name of the story. It's a one and done story, and it opens up with Conan riding a horse across Ophir on his way east. And the narration talks about the fact that in the kingdoms of the east, in Hyrcania and Fort Kitai, there are distant cities of gold, which I guess is supposed to be, in our parlance, would be kind of like going to China and going to their temples and to their pagodas and all of their buildings and being like, oh shit, there's so much gold here. Which I guess is true. That does seem like a real concept. And it turns out that as Conan is entering the city, which has some weird characters in it, he ends up encountering this leper who gives him a coin. And then the coin being handed to Conan allows the leper to have a vision. And the vision is about this man going far east. Conan is the man that it's about. And it talks about something about a golden princess, right? A golden dragon princess. Then Conan grabs the coin. It gets stolen from him. And immediately he punches the villain, the thief, and gets the coin back. This is almost kind of tying back to that scene in the movies where Conan smacks the what is it, camel, right? It's kind of that sort of idea. And then it continues on. Conan wants to know more about this coin, so he goes to this like library or archival place where he meets this Eastern looking character, and his name is Yaktan, and he talks to him about it, right? And we get the same narration that we got at the beginning of the story from this character. Basically, Conan must go east, where there are cities of gold and interesting characters to meet, right? And so Conan goes off. It looks like he has a horse and a pack mule, and as they go further and further east, they eventually come across riders, and these riders look really cool. They're partially, kind of like inspired by Mongolians. They also kind of look like samurai warriors and stuff like that. And as Conan, removes himself from his horse in order to, attack these men, or in order to see what's going on, these men also get off their horses and reveal this female character who is having difficulty. She seems to be hurt and having issues. And so Conan fights these guys for her peace, I guess. And as he beats them quite easily, he kills them. He releases her, right? And he and this woman have trouble communicating since he doesn't know Eastern languages. And then she kind of lays with him overnight. And eventually the next day they head off in order to find a city of gold. This woman knows the way to one. And so she leads Conan there. And once they're there, the woman reveals herself to be a witch. She calls forth an ogre, and this ogre battles Conan. This ogre doesn't really look like something that would come out of the Hyperborean age, to be honest with you. It almost feels kind of like they took Kratos and they just kind of gave him a weirder, grayer skin tone than he already has, and they just had Conan fight him. And it turns out that Conan really can't beat this creature, but if he cuts down the witch, the ogre melts away, right? And the thing is that as the witch melts, as she dies, she becomes a red, like what's it called, like sinew-colored dragon, whereas the ogre becomes a beautiful young Asian lady. And then Conan must battle the dragon, and he actually manages to kill it really, really easily, even though this dragon is huge. And Conan can just cut through its whole head quite simply, and then he escapes with this princess. Later, this princess reveals herself to be a dragon also, although this one is a beautiful golden dragon, and she gives Conan a special golden trinket that he wears around his neck, which is a sign of value for him. And then the princess goes off and the golden city disappears, and Conan has found himself an interesting adventure and some great gold. And the story is not that bad. I think it's fine. It's not good or bad. It's just kind of like a normal, generic Conan, yarn. But there are quite a few issues with it. One, the narration gets mentioned multiple times, and it's kind of not well done, because on one hand it's done as dialogue, and on the other it's done as narration. And then later, I think Conan even says them to himself. And so what the issue there is that there's no attempts to even make it seem like it's different. It's literally just like word for word the same thing. That's kind of lazy in my opinion. Secondly, no hate to anyone, but Jeremy Ma's artwork does not really work for me. And I think it's mostly the colors, not necessarily the way that the art style is done, although I don't really like it either. Like the line works is fine, but it's not like something I like. But the colors really don't work for me. It just looks like there's an attempt to make it look like something else, maybe something like an actual art style that is prevalent in the East. I don't know which one, but it does kind of feel like that. It's not a style that looks good for me. I just don't like it at all. And the way that Conan is drawn, he almost looks like a Neanderthal, or something kind of like what you would imagine an Asian version of Conan to look like. And it just doesn't work. I don't like how it looks at all. I really don't like it. And this weird, like, I don't know what to call it. I guess it would be some sort of like weird cell shading, but it's like, it's supposed to imply color and shadow, and all it does is just makes the characters look like they have some sort of like vitiligo or something like that. That's sort of a condition where your skin turns different patches. So like you have like a patch of darker brown skin, and then a really light skin, and then a darker skin, and then a very light patch of skin. It looks like that. And I think that's called vitiligo. I'm not really sure if that's true, but that's what it looks like. And all of the characters have this style painted onto them, even the horses. And it just doesn't look good in my opinion. I don't like it. And so, broadly speaking, I'm disappointed with this. And, if this was something that I got for $1, I probably wouldn't have cared that much. But I paid a full $5 price tag for this because I wanted to buy it quickly so I could review it as soon as possible, although that didn't really end up happening. But the thing is that, this is supposed to be an awesome story. Walter Simonson is a great creator. He didn't really get to do Conan before. Now he does. And what we get out of that is a story that's not really worth the paper it wasn't printed on, since it's a digital only story. And that really sucks. I talked to some people at Howard Days about this, and mostly Stygian Dogs. And, the consensus that we got to, or the kind of thought process that was shared with me, was that maybe this is best looked at as a way for, like you should think of this as a tale told to us by Kitai orators or narrators that are trying to make Conan seem more in line with their own culture. And that's why Conan looks the way that he does. This kind of like Asian phenotype to his face that doesn't really fit the normal Conan that I'm used to, right? And that works, but if you have to editorialize that much in order to find the story appealing, then that means that the story is not well done, and that's just a shame. Especially because I had to pay full price for this, right? If this was $1 comic, I would have not really cared all that much. It would have been fine, you know, whatever. It's $1. It's not that big a deal, right? But I paid $5 for this, or actually maybe it was $3.99, right? It's whatever the normal price tag for a Conan comic is, and it was not worth it at all. Especially because I don't even get to own the copy. I don't get to see the awesome digital covers, I don't get to own the thing at all. I don't get to have a cover of it. I don't get to put it on my wall or anything like that. It's just not, it doesn't give you the value that you expect. And that really sucks. So this is maybe the first time that Titan and Heroic Signatures really take a stumble, really kind of fail to provide me with what I'm looking for out of their collaboration together to get Conan out here, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on that. I feel like it's maybe a bit too negative, but I just don't really have anything else to say. I mean, it's just not that good. And so hopefully you guys understand that. And if you've read this story, tell me what you think about it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys later.